This next poem is called Cavity, and that's a poem I wrote. I write a lot of poems when I have dreams. I wake up and I have poems in my head, and I'm dreaming in poetry, and I wake up and I write it down really fast, and this is one I caught that I was able to catch. It's called Cavity. Mom was a constellation with a cavity on her last molar the size of a black hole, and the gravity of it weighted my walk to the right. I had the chance to split from it. I lofted my right foot, felt for a time this anomaly, what it was like to life without limping. And then time rewound. I was at daycare and ready to leave. I came back for myself. I asked Jack, my brother, what do we do? As if anything but gravity could stop me from saving her. I kidnapped the kid. I knew the consequence. Me, myself, and I on the run. We had to find her, to plug the drain, to get the hitch out. I don't have a name for this one. It's just part of my 30-30. I pay the tab. I lend you 500. I call it enough when it isn't. Call it even when it's not. I set up for the picnic and figure out all the details of time travel. We wake up irritated with the morning itself, and you don't smile at me when we get ready for vacation that I paid for, that you wanted, that you asked for. I don't know the time right now, and you hate that. I want to know how you tie a tie, how you fall asleep with every single light on and all the locks on the door out of place and care so little about the big things. Haven't bothered to just YouTube how to make the salmon the way I like it instead of asking me to make it, or learn how to separate the delicate from the everything else in the laundry. I want to know how, after everything you have to say about others' ambivalence to violence, that you bought a 24-pack of matches and you still can't stop pouring anything but gasoline, gaslight. Don't give up on this fire. While I run out of cold water for the burns, you rob me of lazy Sundays and a well-earned nap, complain and make a mess, calling on a nurse for a bomb or a house fire, while you do nothing but watch me implode. This poem's called Bite. Everyone is scared of sharks, and we just keep on eating what the deli puts up. I'm talking about kind of vacancy, a willful dishonesty to the self, complacency to a form of violence that keeps serving us, keeps the feeding, the craving. Everyone is scared of sharks, but we go to Florida for vacation, and then we go swim, and then we eat prawns at dinner. We swim in the warm water. We learn how to rip the riptide in half with a surfboard, and everyone is hooking sharks and using their fins for silverware, running it back to the dock for seconds to the shoreline, and the thirds and the fourths and the fish get a souvenir slashed through their lip and come back to bite for more because they skip breakfast. I lived with a fisherman for all these years and ate chum straight out of his hands. I ate live bait hook to hook, and I stutter now when I speak about the violence I hear inside of language, a willful dishonesty to the bait fish. Everyone is scared of sharks because of all them teeth and get swept off their feet by the boatmen who call what they do an honest living. I'm saying the oceans are emptying because we are making movies about the wrong enemy. Feed the craving. Pacify the fear with a scapegoat. Look in the mirror and victim the guilt out of your own words and what you ate for breakfast. This is my last poem. Give me a sec, because I'm not going to read that one. Okay. Ooh. We find cooperation. Oh, pause. Let me tell you what I named this poem because I was really proud of it. It's called Sugar, a study on the prevalence of chemical coping in childhood veterans. We find cooperation to be synonymous with consent, but two bodies cope differently with the same weapon, whether holstered at the hip or the breast or the fist, trigger finger. The body demands an answer, and I drink. The body questions the feeling, and I answer. I am the liquor. I am the answer. I can numb you cold like a body. My sympathetic nervous system's preferred drink is to fawn, pour a cold one, to freeze at dawn like frost, like cold feet, frostbitten child, prehistoric fossil of an adolescence found somehow surviving for so many years after the blood's been bled run out. I meet an ugly traveler at 19. We both barely get the bills, but we both pay the tab in full. Both drink till full and then drink another. You and I are similar because something is starving in the kitchen. You and I are starving the same victim in the hospital bed, so we get married at 23 because we already picked out our plots at the cemetery and called each other's cause of death before it happens, like a hustle. And I don't dare part from this game or get brave enough to force an AA meeting or an intervention out of this date night. You and I both deny the rape kit at 15 and inject a synergistic drug instead that will make blood blisters in our esophagus one day, because either way, the result, the case against him, will not make this feel anything better than numb. You and I are similar because we were once a politician's first pick for draft. Jailbait prepubescent body, bite-sized police puppy with a big bite, bloodbath out of a single word, say good morning to our mothers and then bury the children's clothes that belong to us, but never forget the child. Weep at a movie trailer, a commercial for early 2000s, at a film, at a horror. If I drink too much, I get sleep paralysis. My vocal cords stuck on a single horrific gurgle. Too much medicine and comfortably numb becomes quadriplegic. Child abusers sick their loyal dogs against the ones who run to drag them back into the kennel. The picture-perfect picket white fence was made of iron and wrapped in barbed wire and then painted eggshell for the neighbors, and now look at us. We can both make a crime scene out of any day of the week. Healed ourselves into a scar, and now we can retire these canine teeth to a handle, a choke collar of our own choosing, to leach out the poison and turn our blood solid and saccharine. Carbon tetrachloride is a heavy carcinogen in the bloodstream, and you can only know if you were exposed to the poison if you smell it. Something like sugar. You woke up next to me yesterday after a bottle of cheap whiskey and smelled like candy corn. Spook Halloween. Where is the body? Where did he kill you? Where did the touch become deadly? Diabetic breath, ketoacidotic smell of putrefied liquor in the liver. I am the liquor. I am a macabre costume, trying too hard to pretend it's October 31st, 365 days of the year, to dry heave out a childhood filled with body parts that did not belong to me, but became a part of me, and I can't take them off. Maybe we are all trying to drink away some kind of shame, a phantom limb, a sickness, a prayer for my sleep paralysis demon to actually come tonight and fight back the demon in me. I finally unlock the tetanus and sit up gasping for air, wait for my heart rate to slow, close my eyes and breathe. We're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of my funeral this week. We're still hiding bodies under the sink, in the Pine Sol bottle, in the pocket flask I left behind in Illinois myself to hide every lie. They find my bones in the attic, in the cement, in the kitchen incinerator, and I can't get myself to choke down a solid meal to this day. He killed me in front of the family room. He slaughtered me for breakfast every day. Last year, I filed my tax returns for the first time without my mom's help. I saw the generational trauma in numbers alone. My mother's IRS sought the same ransom that I do. We have already paid it. Why am I owed now? What am I owed? My wallet is sick on overspent thirst. I sunk $10K on liquor alone last year and filed for return, but I can hardly remember myself to eat, to sustain my life. The sirens in the bottle call me like a Kraken song, to drink, to snuff myself with liquid under the sea, to smother with ether, drown the baby in the bathwater, the breath, the shame, the child that did herself dirty, when really it was daddy that did me dirty and made of me a drug interaction. The similarities between hunger and craving blur into a starve, into thirsty until I can forget this again. I mean, for $10.99, $13.99, $15.99, I mean, what I'd pay for a six-pack, but not for a meal. 10 years later, my name is Baby still. I'm a functional alcoholic, and I hold down a job, and I arrive for work whenever nobody's looking. I clock in ugly. The boss kicks a kiss to her, to me, her salacious, sick sister. I know she is as ugly as me on a Sunday night. Neither of us remember how to pray without the hangover over our shoulder. The ugly does a death dance at the club on a weeknight. I know how to have a good time. I know I'm stronger with a stiff drink in hand. I know how to hold my liquor. I know how to not puke at the party, to go outside, fumble my hands into an alleyway and kiss the garbage can again, to dump my death inside the bin where nobody will look. Thank you. That's all I have.
Wow. I think we should all give it up for Maddie.